conversation with Cole Cubelic. He is co-host of McElroy and Cubelic in the mornings on Jocks in Birmingham, college football analyst, SEC Network, ESPN, and most of the time all-around pretty good dude. Tom Hart has decided that he's just going to walk directly into the live stream frame. This is what we're dealing with. I think that just got really tight and blurry.
He's so excited that he's going to be back on the road this year. He can't.
He should be excited about that.
Himself.
He should be excited about that.
He's just trying to interject into everything. He thinks the season has already started.
Yeah. You were talking about the differences between Ole Miss and Mississippi State, and I think you were at the schedule.
I agree with you, by the way. I don't think it's LSU and Ole Miss, but I do think Ole Miss has the biggest variance between total wins and maybe least amount of wins.
Yeah.
I could see him winning 10. I could see him winning 4.
That's
5,
what you said, yeah.
maybe.
Those were the exact numbers we came with.
But not LSU. LSU's going to be better than people think. I don't think LSU can win 6 or 7 games. I don't.
Well, I think they can win 11 if everything goes perfect.
I don't think it's going that far back no matter what. There's no way.
My rationale from that is if everything explodes, like the Title IX thing or the NCAA thing, or they quit on Ed Ogeron or something along those lines, and it just kind of –
I just don't see it. There's too much talent, and there's too many good coaches on that staff. But
we're not always going to agree.
I do think that if there was a team that I think exceeds expectations more than any other in the league this year, it'll be Mississippi State. Now, part of that is most people that really don't know will tell you that they think State's going to win 2 to 4 games, which I just think is ridiculous. I understand that.
Wait, you mean like in the conference? Or like 2 to 4 games?
Total. I mean, I got people telling me, I think they're going to win 3 games, 5 games, 4 games, and I don't understand it. I don't understand where that's coming from. The last time I checked, defense coordinator's back. He did an amazing job last year. I understand Errol Thompson, Kobe Jones, Marquise Spencer are going to be gone. That was sort of the heart and soul, maybe not even of the defense, but the entire team. But the injection of youth into the offense late really, to me, signified that team beginning to look different. And whether it was Wally, Marks, Rogers getting a little more comfortable, I think that's when it started to look the way it's supposed to look. And I believe for Mississippi State, having a spring practice versus not having a spring practice is probably more important than anybody else. It's big for everybody because you need the development, you need the contact. Contact's been pushed back. We've taken so much of that away. Everybody needs a spring practice. But what do we always hear about Coach Leach? Reps, 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 reps. Whatever you want to say. And I've asked him the question that people say, well, he only has 6 plays. It's BS. There's more than 6 plays. Or he only has 18 plays. It's a lot of plays. It's just they run them in a very efficient way, and they only call it a few things because one play can be 20 different things. They have to have reps. You have to have reps and a lot of reps to be good at that. I had the pleasure of calling Samford football this spring. Well, Chris Hatcher played for Leach and won the Harlan Hill Trophy playing for Leach and Mummy. And so he still runs air raid at Samford right up the road here to this day.
Was that at Valdosta?
Yes. Spent a lot of time talking to him just about the implementation, the adjustments, the process. And he echoed those exact same things about reps are important in everything, but they are just the importance is magnified in this offense because you just have to keep doing it over and over and over to get a feel for it. Well, they didn't have that last year. And I think having that this year will help take them a lot farther, and I think that team's going to be better than people believe.
Well, you said Ole Miss best case is 10. What's your best case for Mississippi State?
Probably 9. I don't think the schedule's terrible. I think there's a dangerous non-conference game, not a non-conference game that they can't win. But I think best
How about
case.
NC State in week 2?
Absolutely winnable. There are a lot of people that tell you NC State's their sleeper team in the ACC. But, I don't like them as much as I did a few years ago when I picked them to go to the playoff.
How'd that work out?
He might still be holding a
grudge.
How'd
that work out?
They actually played better down
Honestly,
the stretch, didn't they?
They beat Florida State. They had Notre Dame on the ropes, and they had Clemson on the ropes. If you go dive into that season, they had a chance to win the 2 games that they would have needed to win to be in that discussion, and they didn't. So I would take State in that game right now.
We know you watch the film.
Here's what I want to ask you guys, and what's weird to me. Why are there so many question marks around the quarterback situation? Do people just not want Will to be the guy? Do people not like him?
I don't know. No, it's definitely not that. Everybody likes Will Rogers. Good kid.
Because everybody says
Jack's not sold on him.
Everybody says Jack's the guy, right?
No.
Did we not see
there's not
a guy that's never played in this system how that worked out last year that had other experience?
I think I see what you're saying, but at the same time, people are going to point to Minshew and say, look what he did as a transfer. And Jack Abraham, honestly, his college stats a lot better than Gardner Minshew's were at East
Jack
Carolina.
Abraham's a good quarterback. I've seen him play.
Yeah. And you also have the freshman coming in, who's probably the most naturally talented guy. I think after going 4-8 last year, 4-7, you can't just walk in and say that he's the guy. You got to let him.
Naturally
He's got to
talented
win the job.
guys were what made this offense go. Then Leach would have 5 or 6 starters in the NFL.
Oh, you're right.
So I think it's much more of an understanding. It's much more of a feel, and it's much more on timing and rhythm than anything else. You guys watched the offense last year. How many times they thrown the ball 40 yards down the field?
Not often.
It's all intermediate accuracy, timing, feel, rhythm, understanding, wherewithal, processing, decision making. Maybe more important than all those. When to get the ball out.
And the funny thing to me is you saw it on a week-to-week basis, and we're really questioning Will Rogers. I only saw him in person once, and I walked away from the Egg Bowl pretty impressed.
He outdueled Corral. He set the record for the most.
No one talks about it.
Most passing yards in the game,
and made some huge throws late in that game.
If State doesn't fumble on the 1 yard line, we might still be playing.
And was taking
game.
a beating late in that game too.
Yeah.
He was getting knocked around. Here's what has to happen, in my opinion, more so than anything else. Adjustments up front on offense have to take place.
Yes,
the splits are too wide. You're not going to be, and we all thought. See, a lot of the questions were, can this system work in the SEC? We've seen now it can work. And just because it didn't work to whatever extent people wanted it to or thought it might or compared to other places, what can't work are 3-foot splits against defensive linemen in this league. They're too damn good. They're too quick. Quentin Bohanna at Kentucky, who was 6'3", 355 pounds, was shooting gaps and winning against that offensive line last year. And not because the offensive line wasn't good, it's just you're giving them too much space to operate. It's one thing that Hatcher told me at Stanford. He said, first thing I did is cut our splits down. I'm just telling you guys, it sounds simple, it sounds easy. That has to happen.
Is part 2 the running game? Got to run it a little bit more?
No. It's all an extension of the running game. But
yeah, it is.
When if they run the ball before and that's why it worked? It would help.
But it wasn't in the SEC.
It would help and it would be nice, but does it have to be there? No. Now, maybe if we wanted to go down the path of, do you need to be more effective running the ball to force defenses to play you a different way? Maybe. But I think Leach will.
I'm sorry. I thought that part was understood with my question. I don't mean run the ball just because somebody says you need to be at 70-30 in terms of a split. Yes. My question is, do you need to run the ball more so that
you need to run
get
the ball
people
effectively
out of a constant dime coverage to allow you to throw the ball more effectively?
Maybe.
When you hand the ball off, you need to get 6 yards. It doesn't matter when you hand it off. I do it, I'm going to get 6 yards.
If there are 3 defenders within 8 yards of the ball, you should be able to hand it off and pick up a significant amount of yardage every time you attempt that.
Great conversation as always.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time.
I'm sorry I did not understand the implementation of your question when you asked it, but
it's his fault.
I'll be better.
No, don't blame yourself.
I expect more from you, but that's okay.
I've got to improve.
Cubelic and McElroy on Jock 7-10.
McElroy and Cubelic.
We're trying to give you top billing. Come on.
No,
Greg deserve it.
Greg didn't want that.
It's the Mac and Cube show. We'll be back. Sports Talk Mississippi.